Let's go. Are we actually on? You're here listening with Kayla
and Georgia,
bringing you real, raw and relatable chats on the Evolve to Thrive podcast.
Stay tuned because shit's about to get juicy as we dive into all things health, fitness, life and relationships.
Let's go. Woo.
On today's episode, we dive into the world of New Year's resolutions. Today, we are going to be talking about setting realistic goals, the pros and cons of resolutions, and how you can make this year your most successful year.
How successful are you today? You're doing the intro. Georgia's back on the intro.
I got banned for a while because every time I did it, I fucked it up, and then Kayla wasn't having a bar of it, so I've been banned from doing intros, but we're back. Season 2.
I've given her an opportunity. So you guys can tell us whether she's hit the intro well on the head today or whether she's banned.
Off.
Nah, jokes. We'll let her in. So let's get into the episode of today then.
But how are you today?
I'm fabulous. Actually fabulous.
We both came in here glowing, I think.
We're glowing. We are.
Why is that, Kayla? Tell me why you're glowing today.
I think I am dickmatized.
Kayla has let's finally welcome her to the world of dickmatism. She was hanging shit on me for a while for talking about being dickmatized, and she's finally been dickmatized, and she gets it. She understands it. Welcome to the toxic world of being dickmatized.
Absolutely dickmatized. But let's move on.
Why? Why do you want to move on so quickly?
No, I actually think.
Are you nervous?
This is a good intro. Okay. So Georgia and I have come in glowing because we got laid, but Georgia has actually had more than a day. She's had a whole week. How's that?
A bit longer, I think.
I don't know. How you going? Are you in love?
I think I'm in love, doll. I think I'm in love.
I think I have deja vu.
No, I'm not. We're definitely not in love. We're just...
She's in lust. 100% in lust.
I think we're both in lust.
We are, yep.
We love that. That's what we love to see.
But you know what? We're bringing the good energy to the episode because of that. So we can provide the goods today.
Moral of the story is get good dick and you have good energy. That's the moral of the story.
Do you know what? I think that's our tip of the week.
I reckon it is too.
How good is that?
Good dick, good energy.
Get laid is our tip of the week because you
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
We've got another tip, obviously.
Yeah, no, obviously. Let's get into it.
Let's get serious now, guys. All right. So I have a crave. I mean, no, I've got a crave. I've got a good tip. My tip for the week, we have completely butchered today.
Butchered it, but let's roll with it.
Let's go. My tip of the week is solo travel.
Yep.
You know why? Because...
Tell me why.
I booked a couple of trips for the year.
Yep.
In my mind.
Where have you... Oh, you haven't actually booked it?
No. One of them is booked. The other, I got to the point of looking at my flights and favoriting them.
Where is your first trip booked?
So I am going to go to Bali. Yep. But I've decided, you know what? I might extend it for a month.
Do it.
I might actually stay a month in Bali. Sorry, the podcast might be on hold for a month.
Do it.
I think I'm going to do a month in Bali and then straight from Bali go to the Gold Coast for a fitness conference. But my tip is to just YOLO, go and book a solo trip because I was reminiscing with somebody the other day about my Europe trip.
Yeah.
And I solo traveled Europe and it was the best time of my life.
It's honestly, like, I've done a couple of trips by myself too, and it's so good. It's so good.
It is the best.
You go missing for 3 days.
Peter, mind your business there, yeah? Mind your fucking business. But I've been to a couple of different cities by myself, and it's just like you force yourself to go out and meet people, and like you get into situations that you wouldn't really be in, for whether it's positive or negative. But no, it's really good. It's really good for the soul, really good for the mind, really good to get you outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah. There is nothing but positive things, I say, about solo traveling. So if you are yet to do that, I highly encourage that, and that is my tip of the week. What is yours?
Love it. Well, mine's not as positive as that. Mine is a tip of the week, but it's to read fucking parking signs, if you're at a parking sign, read it and abide by it, because then you end up with 2 parking tickets in the space of 2 days. So that's glorious.
2 parking fines.
2 parking fines.
Was this because of where you were staying
it was
this
where I was
week?
staying this week. And I've got 2, one of them, no, they're both $99.
Were you in a
Fuming. No, it's the city. The city.
permit zone?
No,
Or-
it's just there was a time frame on it.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think the timing cut off at like 9:30. And I
But
was
you
there.
stayed
yeah,
over.
But I was there a little bit longer. So
That is brutal. I used to get parking fines all the time.
I was just about to say, I reckon after high school, there was a period of time where I was just paying between speeding fines and parking fines and whatever fucking other fine. I was paying like $3.5 grand on fines.
Wow, Georgia.
And I was like, I will never do this again. And here I am, 2 in 1 week. 2 in 1 week.
She loves following the same pattern.
God, I know. I thought coming into 2024, it would be a new year and shitty habits would leave, but some of them just stick around.
Well, and here we are today about to give advice on how you can stick to your New Year's resolutions. I don't know if we're that credible today, but we're going to go with it.
After that comment, definitely not credible.
So then your tip is what then? If you are still getting parking fines, what's your tip?
No,
to the
my tip is just to
listeners?
read the sign and abide by it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be spending unnecessary money on parking fines, paying to the government.
It is the worst kind of thing to be paying for.
Worse. So
I hate
I'm a little
that.
bit fuming about it, but it is what it is. Worth it, I say.
I'm sure they're all listening and laughing at you
Worth it
now.
after my week.
I was actually going to say, was it worth it?
Worth it, 100%.
100%. You should get him to pay them for you.
Oh, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Dear Lord.
Oh.
Oopsie. Let's move on to the topic then, shall we?
Let's
of
do
today.
it.
So I thought that today we would pretty much talk about the New Year's resolutions as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are setting New Year's resolutions. A lot of people are probably, well, a lot of people might be successful with them, but a lot of people probably might be already failing them.
Well, I was going to say, I feel like it's getting to that time of the year now where you're coming into the end of Jan, starting a new month, and I feel like this is where people start to
Fall off the bandwagon. Let's analyze or reflect on the gym situation at the moment. So.
Yeah.
First month of Jan is always hectic.
I
at
reckon
the
this is
gym.
their most successful time of the year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How annoying is it getting a machine? But at the same time, we want to preach and be happy for everyone that's in the gym.
For sure.
At the moment.
For sure.
But isn't it interesting? Like, you do notice the drop off as the weeks progress.
Yeah.
It's fucking dead.
By February.
Even
yeah.
by like around Christmas time, like it's dead.
Yeah.
It's dead in there. People have fallen off the bandwagon around Christmas, eaten themselves, drunk themselves silly, come into the new year, and it's just back to back.
Yeah.
It's like a club.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back to
so
back.
it's so packed. But that's the thing. I think today we want to provide a little bit of an overview about our opinion on New Year's resolutions, whether we are for or against them.
Yeah.
And we're also going to provide some pros and some cons to them as well. And then we might talk about a little bit about our goals and some of the New Year's resolutions that we've set for ourselves this year.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the premise of today.
Absolutely. Let's get straight into it.
Let's do it. So firstly, what is your opinion on New Year's resolutions?
New Year's resolutions. I think they're good. They're good to have like a goal in place, but I don't think, like, I personally haven't set myself New Year's resolutions. I've set myself more so goals. So that like I have something that I'm working towards throughout the whole year. Whereas I feel like people just set New Year's resolutions just to say, oh, this year I want to work on this. Or like, for example, someone that's a smoker, like, oh, my New Year's resolution is to stop smoking. But there's
Yeah.
nothing really set in place or any plan in place for them to actually stop it.
Yeah, so without any actual follow-up of taking action and an actual step-by-step process of how you
Measuring it
actually,
out.
Yeah, how you're
Yeah.
actually going to commit to this New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
And I actually spoke about this a little bit as well on my socials, and it's like New Year's resolutions, this is my opinion on New Year's resolutions, and I don't think they suck. I just think people suck at setting them.
Yeah.
Like they just can't actually follow through and execute on it. They
Yeah.
just set it and go, oh yeah, cool. My New Year's resolution is to get to the gym, or my New Year's resolution is to lose 10 kilos this year. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, how are you going to do that?
Well, that's what I mean. People just say it just to say it.
Yeah.
And that they don't actually put things in place to actually get to that goal or achieve that goal.
Yeah.
And they get to like this time of the year or this time of the month and they're like, oh, like whatever, and let it go. Yeah.
So when it comes to overall for or against, Are we for them or are we against them? And we have to.
Is it for me or is it for the listeners?
The collective. As a collective, yeah.
I'm going to say against.
This is good because I'm going to say for. So we can do a bit of a duo on the pros and the cons.
Yeah, let's do that.
Both. All right. So we'll start with the pros.
Okay.
And so some of the pros that I think they're good for. So we're obviously people who we do have our daily habits. We do have our routines. We do go to the gym already. And like we're pretty good at setting goals for ourselves and actually customizing that and setting in actionable steps to achieve it, right? But for the general population who really struggle to do this and they really lack that organization or support, I think when you do have a start of the year time, it's like, cool, this is an opportunity for you to actually set that goal, revisit it. So if things went shit last year, it is a good starting point to be like, great, let's actually set some goals. It's a great opportunity to reflect on what you've done really poorly or what you've done great at. It's a good time for you to celebrate, I guess, what you have done before. And I think it's also really good to use it as an opportunity to really think about what you want to do and what you want to achieve. I think it's like just by being the start of the year, people are more motivated to actually like do something. So I think motivation is there when it's the new year. I don't know
the intent is there too.
I don't know what it is, but it's just that start of the year. Let's go. Yeah. So it is that opportunity to hit the ground running and actually start well.
Yeah. It's almost like when people say
they're going to start Monday.
Yeah. It's almost like the Monday thing. Like, I want to start Monday. I'm going to start. It's like a new start of the new week, start of the new year.
Like, what is it about that, right?
Yeah.
Like, why do we have to start something on the first of the week or the first of the month or the first of the year?
You know, most of the time when people say something like that, they're generally the types of people that
are going to fall off the
bandwagon and not stick to a proper routine. Because at the end of the day, it's all about, like, we can go into this a bit more, but consistency and how much repetition and like how consistent you can stay with it. Like, it doesn't matter if you start on a Friday and then you do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever the goal is, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you fall off the bandwagon Monday, Tuesday. That doesn't matter. Just get back on the bandwagon and still build that consistency.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're like, no, I'll start Monday, it's just going to be the same cycle.
On that note, this is the constant, I would say, procrastination that people do. Procrastination that people do. It's like, saying that you're going to start on Monday. All that is doing is pretty much promoting the inevitable, that you're actually just not committed to it.
It's an excuse.
It's literally just an excuse. So I think as well.
Peter's over here smirking. Do you know that all too well, do you? It's
just procrastinate. I have these consults all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'm just, now it's not the right time and I just, I can't commit to it right now. I'm really busy right now and I'll just wait for life to calm down. And can I just say, your life is never going to calm down.
Ever. You're always going to be busy. There's always going to be something happening.
Yeah. And so my opinion on that is, well, if you can actually start something when life is hard, that is actually going to be more successful for you.
Yeah.
Because that's going to allow you to actually develop some systems that will allow you to provide a routine, to start building habits that work in that lifestyle.
Yep.
Because that's where you, like, again, and we're probably going more into the cons of New Year's resolutions now.
Yeah.
But it is, I guess, again, people just, I'm just going to try and be 100% compliant.
That's the thing too, yeah. And with what you just said, how if you can build healthy habits and a routine through like the most challenging parts of your life or like the busiest time of your life, you're more likely to like
succeed.
If you can say no or be disciplined in certain areas of your life, like I said, when we're busy, it's so much easier to be like that when it's easy.
I was going to say, it then allows the process to be way more beneficial. Like, imagine if you can succeed to something when life is so hectic.
Yeah.
Like, imagine how great your success will be when life isn't so hectic.
And like the amount of satisfaction you get and confidence you build by just being disciplined with certain, even if it's the smallest decision, like saying no to certain things or saying yes to certain things, how much more, like if it's going to benefit you, how much more confidence you get.
Yeah.
And how much more satisfaction you get.
For sure. And that's the thing. It's like, let's talk about the cons then of like this is why people fail their New Year's resolutions at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's because they do have that all or nothing mentality. And we say this, I reckon, on every episode.
Yeah.
Like we literally say this all the time. But that is why New Year's resolutions fail. And the reason that you fail it is because you're trying to tell yourself that you're going to go to the gym 5 times per week. So like if we reflect back on, if someone was to reflect on their year last year, and we're going to kind of go back and forth between pros and cons of New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
So a pro of a New Year's resolution is that you can reflect on last year and go, okay, let's just say you do want to get to the gym more. Let's just say last year you started off going 5 times a week and then it got to 3 and then eventually you just weren't going to the gym at all.
Yeah.
Right? Well, why wasn't that happening? Like it's an opportunity for you to think about why that didn't work out. The reason that people go wrong is because then when it does get to the new year and they set the same resolution that they set last year, they're setting a resolution to go to the gym 5 times a week again.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're only going to stop that and you're only going to go back to the old habit that you had last year, which was you're going to start really, really strong and then it's going to slowly drop away, where you're not going at all. And I want to provide an example of one of my clients who actually started with me. She's been with me for 3 years now.
Oh, huge.
3 years. And she was this person. So shout out to this client. She started with me doing the 8-week challenges. She'd start really strong and then just not follow through, not stick to anything. She started doing one-on-one coaching with me and I said, Jess, we are only doing 3 sessions per week.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I don't know. I reckon I can do 5. I'm like, I don't care. We're not doing 5. We're going to do 3. So we set realistic goal that you're going to do 3 sessions per week. For the last 3 years, this girl has consistently turned up to the gym 3 times per week.
100%.
And we got to the point where we were going 4 times a week, but that 4th session was a bonus.
Yeah.
So I only ever said you only need to do 3. But if you get that 4th session in, that's a bonus. Like that's amazing. And from that, she has now created these habits. And her issue was she was a teacher. And so when it was week 1 of the term, it was amazing. She would start really great. She'd be like, hell yeah, I'll get to the gym 3, 4, 5 times a week.
Start of the term,
then
ready
as
to go.
the term goes on, you've got exams, you got marking, you got reports, you got all this shit. You're stressed. Teachers are so stressed in the last few weeks of the term. Everything drops off. I look at my accountability forms and when it's week 10 or week 8 to 10 of the term, I have their energy levels being rated as a 1 out of 5. Their sleep, a 1 out of 5. Their stress, 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
And I can literally predict what their compliance is based on their energy, their mood, everything. So my whole point of this is set yourself a realistic expectation when it comes to your New Year's resolutions.
And not taking on too much too, because just on that, like I find like a lot of people will, like gym for example, will want to go 5 days a week, but realistically they can't get to that.
Yep.
And they set so many, I used to do this years ago. Like I'd set all these goals for myself for the year and I'd have, the list would be so big and
you physically couldn't do it.
You physically couldn't do it. Even if I had like specific plans of how I was going to reach all them, I wouldn't be able to do it because it was too much. So it's like stripping it right back to actually what you can physically do every single day or every week makes such a difference.
And the thing is like I think I've spoken about this before, but people significantly underestimate what they can actually achieve in a year.
Yeah.
But they overestimate what they can achieve in a month.
Yeah.
So they get really, really ambitious in the first month. So, January 1st, New Year's resolution, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And they go, yeah, hell yeah, I'll smash all this. And they do that for the first month and then like it all goes out the freaking window, you know? So I guess our opinion on New Year's resolutions is they are fantastic. They are great. they're great for you to reflect on the year that's been. They're great for you to because it is the 1st of January, you are more motivated to actually revisit your goals and set them again. And it is also good for you to, celebrate what you actually have achieved as well. I
100%.
think that that's also important. And you probably are going to be more committed to it when it's the start of the year as well.
Of course. At the start of anything, you're a lot more committed. But yeah, like you said, like if you're strip it right back, and if you're ticking off all those goals, like your client, ticking off all those goals, you're more committed to wanting to actually take on more or do more.
And this is the thing, because you then are realistic and because you are consistent, what ends up happening is, okay, your progress might not be in 8 weeks, but you actually will have...
It doesn't have to be drastic.
I was going to say, you're going to have compounding effects on this. Like just little by little, every single week, like that compounds extremely over time. And like this client in particular, like she's lost over 12 kilos with me over this time, but she's actually been able to sustain it. And that's where people also go wrong, is they lose all this weight and they lose it all in a really quick period of time, but then they just gain it all back
like that.
And it's again why you need to just go slower with the process. It's going to be a better result in the long term.
For sure.
But what are some other cons about New Year's resolutions that you think have an impact as well? Or pros?
So you've got here external pressure, like goal setting for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
This is something I thought about too. It's like, I feel like a lot of people will just set goals or New Year's resolutions for themselves that aren't actually got anything to do with them or that's going to benefit them. They'll just set it just because it either like sounds good or it's like it sounds good to them, or they think that that's what they should be doing, but it's not something that actually aligns with them, or it's not actually something that they want.
Yeah. I can provide an example of this.
Yeah.
And so I think an example might be competing.
100%.
So I had and even to what you said earlier about setting way too much for the year. So
I think we both suffered with a little bit of that last year.
Yeah. So we also are going to talk about, we'll briefly talk about some of our goals for the year.
Yeah.
But when I did my goals for this year, I actually was that person that put way too much on there and thought about it again and was like, Kayla, how on earth are you actually going to do all this in a year? And I thought to myself, revisit this, because I initially wanted to compete at the end of this year. And I revisited it and I looked at what my priorities actually were for this year. And I said, why does it have to be this year?
I literally had the same conversation with myself.
And again, I think it actually subconsciously, it is that societal pressure of, okay, so you competed last year, so when are you competing next? It's that instant like, oh, so I should be doing this?
Yeah. But and you feel like I don't know if you felt like this, but because I did a show one year and then the next year I did another one, and I'm like, I feel like I need to build up momentum, but then I'm like, momentum for what?
Yeah.
Like, why do you need to compete again? Like, there's nothing wrong with taking time. The stage is not going anywhere. The competition's not going anywhere.
And I think something that I constantly preach is a sustainable approach to competing. Because I want to emphasize that when I compete in a healthy manner, and I compete for the right reasons, and I compete because I want to and because I enjoy it. Yeah. I genuinely enjoy the process.
And when you get to if you're competing for the wrong reasons, again, there's a number of episodes that we spoke about this. If you go into it just for the wrong reasons, when you get to the nitty gritty of or the back end of the prep, you're gonna fall off. Yeah. Because it's just that's when it gets tough. And if you're not doing it for reasons specific to you, then it's just what are you doing it for?
It's not, it's like, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
And there's probably other social expectation New Year's resolutions that people might be setting for themselves too. Potentially, in relationships or friendships or next steps in their life as well. And we also have an episode on that we've done. But do you agree people would set New Year's resolutions based on that because it looks cool and it doesn't necessarily serve them any good?
Are you talking about like in terms of relationships, you're talking about like people progressing in relationships or
like getting married or having a kid or having an engagement or something.
I feel like a
that.
lot of if you're in a group of where all your friends are getting married, having kids, and buying houses, it's easy to feel like that. But also at the same time, I feel like society is also not taking a back seat on that, but like women are getting married late. People are getting married later. People are having kids later. So I feel like it's
starting to drop.
Yeah, the expectation of it, or like the need for it, isn't as strong as it used to be, which is also good too. I guess our tip is to, when you are setting your New Year's resolutions, think about why you're setting it. Yeah, and another thing is too, is like ask yourself why and answer yourself, and then ask yourself why again, and keep asking yourself why until you really get down to why the fuck you're actually doing
the inner reason as to actually what the purpose is.
Because I've done this a few times with certain things. I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I'm going to do this year. Why though?
Yeah, why do I want to do this?
Why do I want to do it? And then when I really get down to it, I'm like,
it's not that important.
This is a bit like surface level, and like
it doesn't actually matter too much.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't actually want it now. Now that this is what's coming out, I'm like, I don't want it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's important. I think everyone should do that.
Yeah. Even back to the competing. It's like, I think I actually really want to compete again. Yeah. But I thought about how much money it was and where I want to be spending my money this year.
For sure.
And I was like, as much as I really want to compete, I actually just want to spend my money on other things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's okay as well.
Absolutely.
And as we said, like, competing is always going to be there, and you don't have to do it like if you don't want to.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I think that you should just be asking yourself why more than once before you set these goals or before you set these resolutions to yourself. And I think
absolutely.
That
someone listening wants to sponsor Kayla.
Yeah.
Well,
or me, surely.
If I'm going to get sponsored, sure.
I'll be competing in 4 months if I get sponsored.
I'm not joking. If money wasn't an issue, like if it 100%, if it was more affordable, I actually would be competing, I reckon.
I feel like a lot more people would be competing if it was a lot more affordable. Because I think people.
We should do another episode on that.
Well, you know what, Michael actually did an episode on his podcast
about the expenses.
The expenses, and it's like, if you're starting to get into prepping and want to know how much it's actually going to cost you, listen to it, because they do a full breakdown of what you can expect.
We actually are going to do that. I've just decided in the back of my mind.
We should do that. Yeah, we should do. Sorry, Michael, we're going to do one too.
It's honestly though, because you don't realise.
Yeah, I remember the first one I did, and I was like, when all these payments just kept coming out, I'm like, fuck me. Like, I'm going to have to start stripping soon to afford this. Like, this is just fucking ridiculous.
You basically moved home after you competed.
Literally. Should have just started stripping, honestly. But yeah, no, it's very, very expensive.
Yeah, no, we definitely want to.
And if money wasn't an issue, we'd both be
up on the stage this year for sure.
This year, come on.
All right, New Year's resolutions. Let's move on to our New Year's resolutions then. What do you think? No, we're going.
Okay.
We're going great.
Beautiful.
How are you going with your New Year's resolution? Oh, actually, you said you didn't set any New Year's resolutions for this year.
No, I set more so goals for myself. So things that I want to do this year and achieve this year.
Yeah.
And actually started putting steps in place to try and achieve those.
Perfect. I reckon that's our next part, to get into how we can help people actually set goals for the better.
Yeah.
So even though we did kind of say this was about New Year's resolutions, I think we more so want to put it towards goal setting.
Yeah.
Because I think that's more relevant, because you can set goals all year round.
But either or, I mean, if you're the type of person that
needs a New Year's resolution,
that works for you, then 100% go for it. Like, I'm here for that. But yeah, for the people that it doesn't work for, then this is for you. Yeah, this is more so tailored towards you.
This is for you. And this is to help you actually put the steps in place to execute your New Year's resolution.
I don't think we asked you. Were you were you for or against?
I'm for them.
You are for them, okay.
And this is where we can get into it in a bit more of a deeper level.
Yeah.
I'm for them when they're set properly. Yeah. I'm for them if you have written it down. I'm there for it if you have specifically put actionable steps in place X, Y, and Z to be, this is how I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
You know, like there is absolutely no point setting a New Year's resolution if it's in your mind. If it's in your head, you ain't committing to that shit.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now.
You're not going to remember to do the shit that you need to do each day. Even if it's something so simple, like you're not going to remember to do it. You're not going to do it.
You need to either put that New Year's resolution on a sticky note and put it on your mirror.
Yeah.
Or
alarms.
Alarms.
I'm a bit of a slut for alarms.
Yeah.
Even if it's something like take something out of the dryer or like read for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Or meal prep. There's alarms going.
That's where again, we speak about journaling. I've spoken about that for the last 2 weeks straight, but that is where you put your New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
Like, write it in a journal. I actually have a journal for that. I have a separate journal that's literally just a goals journal. And every few months I revisit my goals. So I don't think people should be just setting a New Year's resolution and be done with it. I think you need to revisit it. I think you need to like set yourself a goal every month.
At the start of each month. Everyone loves the start of a month or a week. At the start of each month, revisit those goals again.
I was going to say every month, every week, every 3 months, and
see where you're tracking.
See how you, one thing that's really, really good is there's a habit journal that you can get. I reckon we do another episode on habits and routines and stuff. But get an actual tracker that you can tick off whether you're achieving that goal. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. Or even like have things in place too that if you're not on track to be able to tick that goal
rectifying
off.
It. Or
how can we change your behavior or habits each day to ensure that you can check it off?
Yeah. And this is where I think when it comes to goal setting, something that's really popular is the SMART goal strategy.
Yeah.
So when it comes to setting a goal or series of goals, a lot of people swear by SMART goals. So if we reflect back to that is, if we go through each letter, so SMART being specific, M being measurable, A being achievable, R being relevant, and T being time bound. I want to flip your mindset, or the audience, I want to flip your mindset on this mechanism because sometimes it doesn't really work. And I'm starting to realize the more that I set goals with my clients, the more that SMART kind of method is just a little bit, you know.
This is what the conversation we were having before.
Yeah.
I think it's great, but it's the last part of it, which is the time bound, is where people either hold people up, get people stuck, and then when you're stuck, that's when they kind of like fall off it.
So if we go to that SMART, so yes, you want your goal to be specific.
Yeah.
Like don't tell yourself, I'm going to lose, I want to lose weight. Like, okay, how much weight do you want to lose? And when, like,
what are you going to do to lose that weight?
What are you actually going to do to get there? And we say like time bound, you don't want to put a strict timeline on you achieving that goal, because what happens when life does get in the way? What happens when you need to be able to have some flexibility and room to move with your goals. Whereas if you are like, I need to lose 10 kilos by my wedding, which is in this time, it's like, yeah, but what about after your wedding? Like,
yeah, but at the end of the day, if people want to lose weight for something like that, there's nothing wrong with that either. It's more so just like,
if your expectations are too unrealistic, you're going to be disheartened.
Like for example, the wedding situation, post-wedding situation, yeah, 100%. I know someone exactly that did that. They're like, yep, I'm going to lose 15 kilos for my wedding. And she did just that. She looked amazing. And then post-wedding, because she was so strict on herself to get, it's like competing. You're so strict on yourself to look a certain way by a certain time, and then after it, you've got no purpose. You've got no purpose, or you've got no goal in mind. So it's kind of just like finding a balance between both of them.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. And it comes back to like the yo-yo dieting and the all or nothing stuff. You know?
And your reasoning too. Like why?
Yeah, your why.
Why do you want to lose weight? Like
for your wedding day.
Yeah, but is it just for the wedding day, or do you want to lose the weight, keep it off, and still look as amazing as you did on your wedding day.
And feel amazing too.
Yeah. And know how to maintain it.
Yeah. I actually asked this question to one of my clients who had this exact goal.
Yeah.
She wants to lose weight for her wedding. And I'm like, your partner's already marrying you regardless. Like, this is my opinion.
Yeah.
Your partner's already marrying you regardless. Like, I know that people, obviously you want to look amazing on your wedding day. And I think it is great to have that as something to motivate you to get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
But I also think that some people do set a little bit crazy expectations on that day.
For sure.
Like I think that obviously regardless your partner's going to love you, but I think you definitely should be doing that for you and like how you feel as well.
Yeah. And being able to, like we said before, you want to be able to maintain and manage that after it.
Yeah.
Not just to look a certain way by a certain time.
Yeah.
Which is so contradicting to the shit that we do with competing.
It is contradicting with competing.
Yeah.
But let's have a look. Okay, well, let's just say specific. Yes, you want your goal to be specific, okay? So make sure that you're actually setting a little bit more specific. Fucking hell.
Specific. Writing the goal. You've got me fucked up now. Specificity. Say it again.
Can't say it.
Specifics works also.
Specific.
Let's just stick with specific.
Anyway, let's just say
write the goal down. Be specific about it. And write things like if you've got a 6-month goal of something, write things down that you want to do each day and don't make the goal too big or that's going to really, you want something that's going to slide into, whether it's a health or fitness goal, you want something that's going to slide into your routine and work for you.
Another thing is actually on the note of goals, like let's just say you've got a course or something that you want to do.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I'm going to finish this course in 6 months. Okay. You need to reverse engineer.
Yeah.
When are you going to fit that into your week? Are you doing it every day for a really small amount of time, or are you allocating 1 day a week to this goal? When exactly in your week is that specific thing going to fit in?
Yeah.
An example of that as well is one of my goals was I want to get into reading this year. And I was like, okay, well, where is that going to fit into my day? How is that going to fit into my day? What am I actually going to be doing to make this work? Because it was something that I wanted to do last year, but it just never worked out. It just never fit in.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you want to get into meditation, if you want to get into journaling, if you want to get into reading, is that going to work better for you in the morning? Is that going to work better for you in the evening? Work out when that is actually going to be beneficial, because some people might prefer journaling and meditating in the morning. I personally don't. I like doing that in the evening. So getting clear on where in your day that specific thing is going to fit in is really helpful. And also, how like where in your day, what type of time block can you allocate towards that?
Yeah.
I think is also really important.
Absolutely. Which brings us to the next one, measurable.
Yeah.
How are we going to measure our goals that we set each day? So for me, a goal of mine, like you just said, is studying. So I want to have it done by 7 months I've set myself. So by July, I want to have my course done. And for me to do that, I need to allocate myself 8 to 10 hours a week.
Yep.
So for me, that's like either an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours a day, if I can do that, and sticking to that to be able to achieve that goal by 7 months.
And if you physically can allow an hour to an hour and a half every day, eventually that is just going to be a part of your habit. It's actually just going to be a part of your day-to-day routine. And that's what we kind of want to stress is if you do set it if the task is too big, when times get tough, you won't stick to it.
Yep.
Whereas if you do, I always am a fan of chunking things like that. So if it is easy, you will do it. If it's hard, you will not do it. You will not follow through with it.
And you also feel more guilty if it's something that's very easy to slide into your routine and you haven't done it, you feel more guilty about it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's something so simple. Why can't I have just done that?
Yeah. It's like the meditation. Instead of thinking that you need to meditate for half an hour, do a 2-minute breath work.
See, for me, I would rather do something like that. And that's another thing that's on one of my...
Like you'd rather do 30 minutes?
No. So like breathing and meditation.
Yeah.
So like for me, something that I wanted to work on this year is just breathing.
Yep.
Because like I feel like I'm constantly in fight or flight. Doesn't matter where I am or what I'm doing. And I'm just like, how I feel after just taking a step back and being like... 4 breaths.
It's
4 or 5 breaths.
It's so underrated though.
After it, I feel like I can come to a conversation and I can have a lot more clarity around it. I can actually have a cool, calm, collected conversation without feeling like scattered brain.
Yeah. Yep.
Just taking a step back. There was a reason why I was saying this and I've just lost my point.
Again, chunking it into a small thing so that you can actually fit it into your day. Because
Yeah.
well, that was where I was going with the
Yeah,
conversation.
okay. I was going somewhere else.
But like in terms of the minute, because this also happens with a number of the clients that I work with. It's like, okay, you want to do reading. I've put that in as a daily habit and you're clearly not ticking it off every day. Stop thinking that you need to do half an hour of meditation. Just download the Calm app, do 2 minutes every day.
Yeah, that's where I was going with it. Yeah. Stop making things
So big.
so big. It can be something as simple as breathing.
Breathing for
Yeah.
2 minutes of your day.
Yeah.
That's it. And then when it is easy, then you will be able to form it as a habit more easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which brings us to achievable.
Achievable.
Which
Yeah.
you'll be able to achieve the goals that you want.
If you make it realistic. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, even on that, so, and obviously relevant too, so you want it to be relevant, but this is where, so the SMART goals, it is beneficial, but we want to just stress that the end one on time bound, I just think people need to be less rigid when they're setting goals and allow for things to go wrong. Allow for a little bit more flexibility. If you don't achieve that goal within, say, 6 months, is it really that bad if it's you do achieve it, but it's in 12 months instead of 6 months?
I think also having a time frame is important because if you don't have a time frame,
A flexible time frame.
yeah, you do tend to get a little bit
Off track.
off track. You become not lazy, but it's easier to fall off track. So having a time frame is important, but not saying like, I guess it depends on what the goal is, but like, you know, if you just say by the 7th of June, if this is not done, like having a bit more flexibility around that, like the certain date and a certain time, if that makes sense.
That's what I think is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. You mentioned something about dumb goals. What's the difference between SMART goals and dumb goals?
Okay, so I was reading up and I have seen another acronym for goal setting, which was setting dumb goals.
I've never heard of this.
Now, I'm going to give Train with Soph a little bit of a shout out because I did see this on her Instagram. I don't know if it was her that created this or it already exists, but I am going to give her a shout out and recognize that that's where I found it. And so dumb goals refer to, the D stands for doable. So again, back to realistic. You want to be able to actually do the goal every day that you set for yourself.
Yeah.
Understandable is the other is the U. So actually understand why. Again, this brings us to why. Why are you doing this? Manageable. So when life gets shit, when life gets busy, you can manage this. And the last one being balanced, which we do talk about this quite regularly.
Yep.
And so it's that balance between being rigid at certain times, but then also being able to let your hair down and live your life as well.
Yeah.
And I mentioned
we could probably replace the B with the T. SMARB.
SMARB. We're going to create our own.
That's our own SMARB.
SMARB goals. Yeah, I love that.
Taking out the time.
Specific, measurable, achievable, instead of being relevant, realistic.
Realistic, yep.
And balanced.
And balance. I love that.
SMARB.
We're all about balance.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm all about balance, but I've also come to realize that it's not really a thing. As in, like, as much as we try to balance all areas of our life,
you never will.
You never will.
You never will.
But like, what I'm trying to say is if fun and enjoyment and socializing is your priority, something else is going to give. You're not going to be as strict with your nutrition. You're not going to be as strict on your training. Vice versa. If you want to be really strict on your training and your nutrition, your relationships and your social life will suffer. Like there's one element of something that will not be balanced.
That's why it's coming back to being specific about what your goals are, why they're important to you, what your priorities are, and not making yourself feel guilty if going out and socializing with your friends is your priority. Like, go and do that.
Yeah, even like,
but then don't have a whinge if like you haven't got
where you want to be.
Yeah, where you want to be. You've got to get to where you want to be or to achieve a certain goal. There has to be some sort of sacrifice and give and take somewhere.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Even there was a situation. I went out the other weekend. I spent a shit ton of money, got really drunk. I actually had a really good time.
Yeah.
But personally, I didn't think it was worth it. Whereas there's other times in my life where I'm like, I don't care how much money I spend. I don't care that I got drunk. I don't care that I exceeded my calories and I had a great time.
Because your cup feels full, your soul feels full,
Yeah.
and that's worth it.
And it's worth it. So you just got to decide for yourself. And this is a question that I ask my clients all the time is, was your decision worth it? So if you are wanting to, let's just say your goal is fat loss and weight loss this year, and you also want to go out every weekend and party and drink, like you're probably not going to achieve it as best as you could. So there is going to be a bit of sacrifice required to get to where you want to be. And that's why setting these goals in a way that allows it to fit in with your lifestyle, and therefore that timeline needs to be a bit more flexible if you do want to socialize, party, enjoy life as well.
Yeah. 100%. You nailed that. You said that very well.
Oh, thank you.
Should we move on to
Just a little spiel on some of our goals, or move on?
Yeah, I think we can. Tell me your 2 biggest goals for the year. I'll tell you mine, and then we can go on a rapid fire.
I reckon too.
Get this thing going.
We're going to have a short and sweet episode.
Short and sweet. We love that because, you know, sometimes reflecting back on some of the episodes that me and Kayla did, they're about an hour and 40 minutes because we could just ramble on and talk shit, and then it's just too long. You lose I lose interest of myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's time to keep it short. Short episodes.
So that is our goal, actually.
Yeah, well, that's a goal for the podcast, is to keep it short.
Short and sweet.
And we're running 45 minutes at the moment.
Nah, we're going well.
All right, so tell me.
My top 2. Obviously, my top 2.
I reckon each episode we're going to have a tracker. I'm going to have a counter down here to count how many times you say sorry.
It's a bit.
It's
actually the worst when we do go back and listen to ourselves, and I'm like, ooh, damn.
There was the last episode, just quickly, there was one time you said it and I was like,
Not again, Kayla. Not again.
Triggered.
My biggest goal.
Two biggest goals. You don't have to go into it, but just what are 2 big things that you're...
Personal development. Like a really big goal for me is I really want to read 10 books by this year.
Yep. Beautiful.
10 books is my goal, and fitting that in. So that we can go back to being specific, I'm allowing 30 minutes every night.
Yep.
Before bed. And it's my wind down, and it zens me out, and I end up having a really good sleep from it. So that is
tick, tick, tick,
but
tick.
yeah, personal development, and one of that is reading. Reading is my version of exploring that.
Yep.
And the second one is business growth.
Yep.
So that's taking priority of competing.
Yep.
At this point.
I love that. I'm here for
investing money into that, investing money into mentoring to actually grow it. And that's why I have decided that it would be unrealistic for me to do that and travel and compete in the same year.
100%.
So I've revisited my goals and have become a little bit more realistic to manage that.
Yep. Mine is similar, obviously at different levels. I'm still obviously studying, so I want to finish that and start a business. That's like my main goal of this year. And mine would be self-development as well. Yeah. I mean, you said personal, but I would probably look at more self-development.
Yeah.
I want to deepen like the connection I have within myself, learn more about myself, put myself in more uncomfortable situations to see how I respond just to certain things, just learn more about myself. And the first step to doing that is therapy. So we love that.
Yeah.
Tick, tick, tick.
I'm so proud of you for that.
Yeah.
Even I'm just going to unpack your brain so much this year with that stuff.
Yeah.
I think anyone can benefit from doing that therapy.
Absolutely.
And like, regardless of where you are in your life, you can always learn and understand yourself better.
100%.
The best investment that you will ever make in yourself is actually exploring yourself more.
100%. 1000%. And you don't have to be going through a tough time to be in therapy. I think, like you said, the conversations that you have with the therapist help you learn more about yourself, help you sometimes. There's things that I've said to her where I've said things just to say things, and at the time I don't realize what I'm actually saying, but then she starts questioning me why I'm thinking certain ways or why certain things make me feel certain ways. And I don't know, you learn more about yourself through that way. And I think it's just anyone can benefit from it.
I love when people ask me really deep level questions that make me think about why I do certain things.
Yeah, because it stumps you. You're like, wait, why am I doing that?
Why do I actually care? Or why do I do this? Or why has this offended me? Or even I'll notice certain things that people will say to me and I get really offended and I'm like, why did that offend me?
Yeah.
Like, why did I get triggered by that? And
Why is this upsetting me? Where's it coming from?
I reckon our tip of advice for today is ask yourself why in any situation.
I reckon this week,
That's our
anyone
mantra.
listening, just start like asking yourself why. Why does something matter to you? Why is something triggering you? Why is something making you angry, mad, upset, happy even? Why is something making you feel fulfilled?
I don't know why I nearly just went to laugh after I said, why does that make you happy?
Why?
Because you've had a great week.
I've had a great week. Why? Tell me why.
I know why.
Why are you happy this week, huh?
I reckon it's the same reason.
High five, girlfriend. Let's move on to rapid fire, shall we?
Let's finish this with some fun and enjoyment.
Okay.
Are we getting Peter to do the rapid fire? And I will not butt in this week.
Sure.
Is the third mic on? Or are we sharesies? Okay, let's go.
That's all right.
Do you want to give me the thing?
Yeah, you can have the thing.
Peter's here, ready to go.
Peter's here. We love getting Peter involved because our listeners also love Peter, and Peter's just a fucking legend.
Hello.
So let's get to it.
Let me make sure I got the mouse. All right. So your go-to method for staying accountable to your resolutions. How are you going to rapid fire that one?
Journaling.
Yeah, writing them down. Yeah.
Easy. Something you've changed from the last year that is working well for you so far.
Mine would be breathing.
Reading before bed.
Yeah.
Yours is
We
all
sound
very
so tragic.
analytical. I like it. Vision boards, yay or nay?
Yay.
I want to say nay. I'm going to say nay for that.
Do we want to elaborate on these?
Well, it
No.
defeats the purpose of rapid fire.
Yeah.
Oh, but I was going to say, it's not like you haven't rapid fired every week. You like talk about it. for
I
10
know.
minutes.
We're so in it. That's one of our goals. I'll just go back myself.
Favorite tool or app for tracking progress?
Favorite app or tool?
The Like a Girl Fitness app.
Sneaky little plug. Mine is My Fitness Pal. That's for food.
The LAG app. Yeah, let's go. For and against.
What's
6.
that?
Number 6.
6.
No,
What
sorry,
was your
7.
question? You say 4 or against?
Nah, number 4. But anyway, that's done.
Oh, do you want to do 4 against?
No,
your,
we've already
New
done
Year's
it.
resolutions? Yeah. Okay.
Rapid fire. Let's go.
One word to describe your approach to resolutions.
Consistency.
Is key.
What?
That made no sense. I was just following on because I think that's relevant. One word to describe your approach to New Year's resolutions.
Quick game's a good game.
I can't.
Consistency, or you could say specific. God, my bun.
Realistic.
Yeah, good one.
Top piece of advice for someone struggling to stick to their goals.
Listen to what we just said before about being smart, or smart.
Smart goals.
If you haven't been listening, go back and listen.
Amen to that. That's my answer.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is a good one. The most challenging resolution you've ever achieved.
Oh, I know we refer a lot to this, but probably competing. That's probably my most challenging because that's probably the most difficult thing I've been through.
I was going to say the same.
Yeah.
Although the quitting of teaching was probably up there.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
That was probably
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Taking that leap. Taking the leap is my biggest goal that I've achieved.
Fuck yeah. Proud of you.
Do you prefer to share your goals with others or keep them private?
I'm going to say
It depends.
sharing some of them to get excited for about them, but not the specifics of them.
I think personally, if you share it, you're more likely going to commit to it.
And you get excited, and your friends can get excited. Your real
Yeah.
friends can get excited for you.
You can be more accountable,
Yeah.
but some things you like to keep private.
Yeah. Not the they don't need to know how you're going to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite inspirational quote / mantra for the new year? What, did you forget it? Georgia can go first.
Oh, I got mine.
Yeah. You
Do
go.
less. I've discovered my mantra for the year is do less.
Just for clarification, this is someone who fucking does way too much. So if you're
Yeah.
not doing enough, do
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna have to be a basic bitch and agree with that and say, yeah, do less, because I feel like last year I took on way too much, and that's my resolution this year. Not resolution, goal this year is to do less. So basic bitch, I'm agreeing with you.
How do you adjust your goals if life takes an unexpected turn?
Be kind to yourself.
Yeah, and accept what's going on. It's not going to ruin like your progress. Just accept what's going on, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep going.
My other thing to that is remember to control what you can control.
Yeah.
What you can't control, there's no point of actually worrying about. So just worry about what you can actually control and manage that.
And things happen for you, not to you.
A new healthy habit that you've introduced this year.
Breathing. Breathing.
You fucking use the same answers again. Uninspired.
No, she's saying reading.
One thing you wish you knew about goal setting when you started.
That it's not always going to turn out to plan, and that's okay.
You're never going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Final words of encouragement to the listeners embarking on their 2024 journey.
Refer back to our SMART goals. Be smart, specific. Oh, and I've just fucked that. Be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and balance.
Yeah. If you haven't already embarked on your 2024 journey, reach out to Lack of Your Fitness. That is my final words of today.
Fuck yeah!
Woo! All right. Have a lovely, lovely week, everybody. We're so glad to be back, and we'll hear from you. We will speak to you next week.
We have a very exciting episode next week, so make sure you tune in because I'm getting giddy thinking about it.
It is our first guest for season 2, and this is going to be, we are not sharing who it is, but
he has an incredible story, and I think anyone listening is
going to get a lot of value.
Yeah, a lot of value. It'll have a lot of impact on people. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next week.
Bye for now.
Bye.